Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm with you today to discuss together chapters from 11 to 15 from the novel A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Now it's 1789. It's 3 years into the revolution. Little Lucy is already 3 years, and Mr. Lorry decides to leave for Paris to take care of important business for the bank. Charles Darney tries to convince him that the journey is too dangerous, but Mr. Lorry explains that as a trusted long-time employee of Tilson's, it's his responsibility. Darnay admits that he himself wants to go to France as well. He believes that he might be able to do something about the revolution, and despite his advice to Mr. Lorry, he underestimates how dangerous it will be. While they were speaking, the manager of the bank brings a letter that has been sent to the bank for the former Marquis Saint Evremont of France. Nobody in the bank knows where the man is. Charlie has only told his true identity to Dr. Manette, and not even Mr. Lorry knows that he is in fact the former Marquis Saint Evermont. Darnay says that he knows the man and agrees to take the letter to him. Darnay secretly opens and reads the message. It's from Monsieur Gabelle. The man Darnay left in charge of the Evermond family's estates. Gabelle is now in prison and will surely be executed for having worked for an aristocrat. Even though Gabelle followed Darnay's orders and treated the people kindly, he didn't collect taxes or charge high rents, but the people still want to see him punished. In his letter, Gabble pleads for Darnay to come to France to help him. That night, Darnay decides to leave for France in secret. Darnay sees this as his duty. He also thinks that he will be safe in France. He doesn't tell Lucy or Dr. Manette of his decision before he leaves. He doesn't want to remind Dr. Manette of the doctor's difficult time in France, nor does he want Lucy to suffer through the suspense that may come from the thought of being separated from her new husband. Instead, he leaves a note explaining his deep obligation to return to Paris to help Monsieur Gabelle. Darnay's trip to Paris is slowed down by the constant interference from the citizen patriots at checkpoints. He quickly discovers how much has truly changed and how much danger he is really in. He admits to himself that had he known the risk, he probably would not have returned to France. Darnay is forced to ride under the escort of armed guards. He soon realizes that he is a prisoner. He is met by Ernest Deforge and taken to the prison of La Force. He is put in prison in secret. The charge against him is that he is an aristocrat and an immigrant. Mr. Lorry doesn't know of Darnay's trip to France. One night, while he is at the current location of the Tilson's Bank of Tilson's offices in Paris, Mr. Lorry looks out of the country yard where a grand stone had been placed for sharpening weapons. He is thankful that no one dear to him is in France. Soon after Mr. Lorry speaks these words to himself, Lucy Manette and Doctor arrive. They have followed Darnay after reading his letter. The doctor explains that along the way he used his status as a former Bastille prisoner to gain access across the border and at checkpoints, and to learn news of Charles Darnay. Dr. Manette now sees his past as a source of strength, giving him a charmed life among the people in Paris. A crowd of people gather in the country yard. They sharpen their axes at the grindstone and then hurry back to kill more prisoners. Dr. Manette, with his new strength and confidence, goes into the crowd, where he is soon cheered for and taken to find Darnay. To protect interests of Tilson's Bank, Mr. Lorry helps Lucy to find a room nearby. Mr. Lorry doesn't think that the family of an aristocrat should live at the office of Tilson's Bank. Manette is able to deliver a message from Darnay to Lucy and Mr. Lorry. He hasn't been harmed, but Manette is unable to have him released. Ernest Defarge, Madame Defarge, and the Vengeance go to meet Lucy. As Mr. Lorry explains, it's for the safety of Lucy and little Lucy that Madame Defarge should know what they look like, so that they might be protected in the future. But Lucy doesn't feel safe. She asks Madame Defarge to help her and her husband, and to be merciful as a mother and as a wife. Madame Defarge says that she has seen all women suffer under the aristocracy. Therefore, the suffering of one woman is of no significance to her. Lucy feels Madame Defarge's shadow fall across her and her daughter. She fears Madame Defarge more than anyone else. Dr. Manette returns 4 days later. He doesn't tell Lucy that he has just witnessed the executions of over 1,000 prisoners in those 4 days. He soon becomes the physician for the prisoners. In this role, he is able to visit Darnay so as to make sure that he is safe. As the years goes by, Lucy spends every afternoon standing in front of the prison. She stands in a spot where Darnay might be able to see her as he looks out of the window. The place Lucy chooses to stand is near the workshop of the wood sawer. He is a former mender of the roads, and he watches Lucy and her daughter each day. A year and 3 months pass. At last, Manette is able to bring Darnay to the tribunal. The doctor is confident that he will be able to save Charles. At the tribunal, the jury, president, and members of the audience look like criminals. Shouts of "Take off his head!" immediately come from the crowd as Darnay's trials begin. Soon the mood changes. It changes among the townspeople and the members of the tribunal. Monsieur Gabelle, who has recently been released from prison, and Dr. Manette testify on behalf of Darnay. The same people who had once called for his death now call for his immediate release. Darnay is seen more as a hero than a traitor. He was kind to Manette, a former Bastille prisoner. He chose to give up the money and power of his rank because he cared for the French people. All of this evidence points to the fact that he should not be persecuted as a traitor. Darnay is acquitted. On leaving the trial, the people carry him and in a red chair back to the residence of Dr. Manette and Lucy. Manette is particularly happy because he knows that he has been able to save Darnay. That night, however, while Miss Pross and Jerry Cruncher are away doing their shopping, officers come to Dr. Manette's house. Charles Darnay is charged once again, and the guards drag him back to the prison. The events at Manette's home are known to Miss Pross, and Jerry Cruncher are unknown to them. While they are at a wine shop, Miss Pross makes a startling discovery. She sees her long lost brother, Solomon Pross. She cries out in joy at seeing him, but he is very rude to her and tells her she will get him killed if she doesn't stop speaking to him in English and calling him Solomon. They leave the wine shop to talk on the street. As Jerry Cruncher begins to recognize the man, Sidney Carton steps from a corner and identifies Miss Cross' brother as the spy John Persad. Miss Cross' brother is the man who testified against Charles Darnay years ago. He is the same spy who went to Deforge's wine shop after Gasper's execution. Sidney Carton has a new attitude. He is determined and focused. He knows the truth about John Parsad or Solomon Cross and uses this knowledge to convince the spy to help him. If Charles' next tribunal doesn't end well, Persad will help Carton visit Darnay in prison before his execution. At the tribunal, Charles Darnay is accused once again. This time, he is accused by three people: Ernest Defarge, Madame Defarge, and, to everyone's surprise, Dr. Manette. When Manette's name is mentioned, there is uproar in the courtroom. The doctor is shocked. He leaps to his feet and calls the charge a lie, but he is told to remain silent by the president. The authority figure told the court that one day the Bastille was stormed. Defarge discovered the letter in the former cell of Dr. Manette, a letter that had been written by the doctor many years ago. The letter is read aloud in court. Thanks for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.